Learn how to create, sustain, and scale up your print-on-demand business with the latest tips, guides, and strategies to help you start selling and making money today. Welcome to the Sales on Demand Show. And here's your host, Adam Schneider.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Sales on Demand Show. This is episode 65. I honestly don't even really know what to call this week's episode. There's just so much going on, but I kind of narrowed it down to this. I want to emphasize that there's a big difference between living in fear versus owning your life, and this is going to be an episode about mindset, and there's going to be some information here about Amazon, so don't miss any of that. It's very, very important stuff, actually. If you listen to any episode, this month, listen to this one. So, is coronavirus over? I don't know. Nobody seems to be talking about coronavirus is over, and nobody is social distancing anymore, especially people who are burning things, looting things, or even just protesting. So, you know what? I'm cool with coronavirus being done with. I was kind of done with it before it even started. So, that's my opinion on it. Maybe you feel that it's still out there. It probably still is. But I feel like it's on the downswing, and I'm just happy that we're not talking about it every single day. Except for the fact that now we're talking about things that are objectively worse. So today we're going to be talking about the looting, the burning, the race relations and stuff. And we're going to be talking about some major changes that Amazon has been making on their platform. Or at least changes that they're now enforcing. So that's today. I'm sure, I don't even know if I'll get through all of that. That's a lot. So what is selling right now? Believe it or not, people are still buying things. I mean, this is the craziest I've ever seen anything in my lifetime. Even 9/11 was not this insane. Packages are being literally burnt. Amazon trucks are being looted on the street. But I mean, the chances are that your stuff's not in there. There's hundreds and thousands of Amazon trucks, but stuff's going to get lost. Stuff is being broken. Postal offices are being burned. I mean, somebody just messaged me today and I saw that they lived in Michigan, and I was like, you are going to be waiting a while for your package, just to let you know. And they didn't respond, positively or negatively. I think they know. But I'm just telling them, things are bad. Canadian customers are seeing huge delays for their packages. So I've been telling Canadian customers, I actually put an announcement on my Etsy shop, and I said, if you're ordering from Canada, you will wait a while for your product because it's not being shipped from Canada. Now, I found out the other day that Etsy is telling customers that I'm shipping from my hometown, and I don't know how to stop that. There may not be a way to stop that except to close down my store and reopen it. And I'll be honest, I'm sort of debating that as an idea. I know that I can get my store back up and running again, and I'll just put the same products in there, but it's just a pain in the butt doing that. I don't want to do that, but I will if it eventually helps me, create the store that I want. Because there are some issues with my Etsy store that I just can't fix. It's impossible to fix them. I get paid in Canadian dollars. I don't want to get paid in Canadian dollars. And everybody thinks that because I live in Canada that I'm shipping from Canada. It's not the case. It's annoying. Anyway, so there's still people out there buying. I'm still making decent sales. Today on Amazon was just a flop. We'll talk about that in a bit. I'm still a little choked about it, but whatever. I'll get over it when I fix it. So Father's Day, of course. We still got, 20 days till Father's Day. We're going to be reaching the peak now, so get those listings up. Graduation is happening. We just had a grad party in my local town. We had fireworks and stuff. It was pretty awesome. The grads got to join a little parade and drive around, so get those graduation listings up. I keep thinking that it's already summer vacation, but technically nobody's graduated yet. They still have like 20-ish days to go before the end of the semester, so it's weird. Grad is, the month before, but you don't know if you're going to graduate, so anyway. And weddings. Weddings are going to be big. I'm going to start getting some wedding stuff out there because it's always really, really hot to get out. Probably June weddings might be ruined, but July and August weddings are going to be pretty good. And of course, summer stuff. So, that being said, that's what's selling. What I want to encourage you guys, I know I've sort of talked about taking advantage of current events and listing items that reflect people's feelings on that. I think that's still good stuff, and I would do it. I would not feel comfortable listing any items with this black guy that was just killed by police officers. I would not do anything with his face on it. I just don't think that would be incredibly disrespectful to his family, putting his face on something and then profiting from it. I know I'm changing my tune on that. I've implied that that's okay. It's not. I don't think it's okay. You'll probably get a lot of angry comments about it. Even if people think that you're, honoring his memory, which you probably kind of are. I wouldn't do it, because unless you're going to give the money to his family, don't profit from somebody who died, in police custody. That's not cool. Now, on the other hand, Black Lives Matter stuff would probably be selling really well this month. And if you're a good designer, you can make some good Black Lives Matter stuff, you'll probably make some sales. And I don't see any reason not to. It's a topic that everybody's talking about. There's tons and tons of Black Lives Matter listings on Etsy, Amazon merch, Amazon, all that stuff. It's fair game. So, it's funny, last episode I was talking about my expectations for the future. And, wow. Things have changed. Literally in 7 days, everything changed. I'm not even sure if this incident occurred. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, okay? The elephant in the room right now is that the United States is literally on fire. And it all started when a white police officer was arresting a black man, and he, for no good reason whatsoever, put his knee on the neck of the man for 9 straight minutes. The guy was in handcuffs. He was under control. Regardless of what he did, he could have literally murdered somebody. I'm talking about the black man. He didn't. It was alleged that he passed a counterfeit $20 bill. But even if this guy had just stabbed somebody or something like that, there's no justification for putting your knee on someone's neck. That's not something that law enforcement officers are taught to do. It's not something that we're trained to do. And if you've listened to this podcast a lot, you probably have picked up on the fact that I work in law enforcement. That's my day job. And I like my job, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because it hurts me to see this kind of thing happening and to realize I'm in a profession that this could happen. And it does happen regularly, and nobody's being held accountable for these kinds of things. So, my personal philosophy, and by the way, I'm a libertarian, politically, sort of. I live in the world that we live in. So, we have state-run police service. We still need security, we need justice, we need property rights defended. If someone takes your car, the police are going out there looking for it. And that's my philosophy of law enforcement. When people's lives and their property are being threatened, I want to be out there dealing with that, finding the people who took it, and getting their property back. And then when people have disputes, that's mostly what I deal with. I deal with like people's neighbor disputes and stuff like that, and people who are ripping through neighborhoods, going too fast, stuff like that. I like dealing with that kind of thing, and you'll always have somebody even in a libertarian society, who's going to be mediating disputes. That just won't be run by a government. But that's always something that people need. And you need people who are good at that so that, you can pay them to do that. So the question is, do the police need to be run by the government? Well, it's what we've got, right? And that's something that's hard to change. I don't see any way that we're going to change it right away unless society literally collapses and we remake a new one with anarcho-capitalism as the foundation of the society. I just don't see that happening. Now, the fact that the police service is run by the government it really does have some problems associated with it. First of all, when the police screw up, who's investigating them? The government is just this big monolith. And the fact that the government investigates themselves, that creates some very strong incentives to find that there's no problem, right? So it's like, we investigated ourselves and we found that there was nothing going on here, nothing to see. So the accountability is not there. It has gotten better. Here in Canada, we have something called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It is a document that is very similar to the Bill of Rights in the United States. It's not the Constitution. It's basically the Bill of Rights, and it is the foundational document for, Canadian people who come up to the government. And the government is held to account to the Charter. The Charter is the law of the land. It is really very much like the Bill of Rights. So, the Bill of Rights, the Charter was proclaimed in 1982, which is not that long ago. So, it's a fairly recent thing. Now, before the Charter, the police literally had no restraints on what they could do, which was bad, real bad. And there was instances where people were being basically tortured into confessing to crimes, and they were being horribly mistreated, like not being fed, being basically put into Guantanamo Bay kind of situations where they're deprived of food and water and the basic necessities of life. So the Charter was a huge step, and I know that police officers did not appreciate this at first because it really restricted what they could do, but it was necessary, and it still remains necessary. And nowadays, the biggest thing that is keeping police accountable, and government officials in general, is video. Hugely keeping people accountable. So, I'm always telling people we're always telling each other, assume you're on video, okay? And act, even if you know you're not on video, act as if you are. Behave as if literally the Prime Minister himself is standing on the corner watching what you're doing, okay? So be professional, be courteous, deal with people fairly. These are all things that are part of my core. These are who I am. These aren't just things that I give lip service to. I care about these qualities hugely and deeply. And when I see somebody doing something like this, putting their knee on the neck of somebody who's been arrested, it turns my stomach. So, yeah. We were all pretty angry about this. And yes, a lot of people will say that cops in general are bastards, and you know what? I disagree, but I understand the statement, because there's enough of them out there that you would think that they all are. There's far too many law enforcement officers who are just, they don't fit. They don't belong in the profession. They're out there because they're trying to prove themselves, and they're trying to pick fights with people, or they're trying to fill some need of some deeply felt need of theirs. I don't even know what to describe that as. They don't get respected at home, so they come to work and they're getting their rocks off, I guess, treating people poorly. And it's not good. It's not good. Human nature is pretty awful sometimes. But then you got people like me, and there's lots of people like me who I look at this job as an opportunity to do something good for people. And I really do. I don't have a quota for tickets. I do write some tickets now and then, but when they need to be written, right? I'm not writing a ticket because I think, oh man, my employer needs more money, so I'm going to write this ticket. No, I write the ticket because I think that this is going to make someone safer. And I really do think that. And I try to act on it. I do the best I can. And if someone comes to me and says, I don't like the way that you did this for me, I'm not going to dismiss them. I'm going to listen to what they have to say and try to understand and, take it under advisement. I consider myself to be pretty teachable in that regard. And we need to be teachable. We need to be not so arrogant that we think we're above the law, but that we work within it. It is a pretty big deal to be given arrest authorities, to be given weapons, to be given uniform. People look at you and they say, oh, you're in charge. And it's like, well, no, I'm here to protect you. I'm not in charge. I'm not your dad. I mean, some people look at us like we're parents, and they treat us like that, and they try to use us to get back at other people or whatever. And I'm pretty good at dealing with those kinds of people. But in many ways, it's a very adult job, and you need adults doing it. You don't want little kids in big people's bodies out enforcing the law and having weapons on them and having no accountability for their actions. So there's a couple of issues that need to be dealt with. Police officers need to be held accountable when they do something stupid or illegal. When they break the law, they have to face the same consequences as everyone else. And that hasn't been there. So there was something called qualified immunity. It means that you can't be sued. If you're a government agent, even if you're acting outside the scope of your duties, you still can't be sued for what happens at work. So that's a problem, right? It means that police officers who, if they shoot an unarmed man, because they acted too quickly or something like that, or they commit some kind of abuse on somebody, or they they execute a warrant on the wrong house, break someone's door down, and they shoot somebody. And that happens way too frequently. They need to be held accountable for that kind of action, right? Because otherwise they're not going to be careful in the future. So if a police officer does break the law, they need to be tried, and there needs to be a real effort to try and convict people who do these things. The problem is that when a police officer is put on trial, far too often, they get off on some technicality, or, when they are convicted, they don't face any kind of real, punishment. And that's not good. And you know what? I'm saying this as somebody who's there doing the job. And I know that somebody can accuse me falsely of abusing them, and then I'll have to defend myself. But I picked this job, right? Nobody demanded that I do this job. I wanted to do it, and now I'm doing it. And so I face the extra risk of being accused of doing something bad, and I got to defend myself. And I'm pretty good at avoiding those accusations, first of all. And if somebody does accuse me, I have cameras recording, I have my notes, I have everything I need to say, no, I didn't say that, I said this, that, or whatever. And it's very rare that it happens to me, but I know I'm doing the right thing. I can go to sleep at night. I get a good sleep because I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm acting professionally. I'm not putting my knee on someone's neck. So that's just a few of my thoughts on that. I'm really trying to be honest and forthright with you guys, because this is a big deal to me. And I like this line of work, and I want to continue doing it. I'm applying to some police services, and hopefully something will come of that. And I want to be, I want to be working for people and doing a good job. and I know I'm probably not going to be respected for my, for my choice of job, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to be respected by the public. I just need to look at myself in the mirror and say, I respect myself for doing what I do. If there is ever a day that I look in the mirror and I feel like I'm not doing a good job, I think that'll be the last year that I do this work. So anyway, that was a long stretch but I wanted to get that off my chest and ponder what I've said there. There's lots of people out there like me who just want to do a good job, and we'll do the best we can. And sometimes we do something stupid, and I'm happy to be held accountable for what I do. I'm perfectly happy. So, anyway, now when it comes to the race issue, the video of the officer holding his knee on a black man's neck is just about as bad as you can get. The optics of that are unbelievable, and I completely understand a black person seeing that and being just filled with rage. I don't know what to say. I don't want you to hurt other people in your rage. Don't burn things down. Don't abuse your neighbors. Don't burn down the Sport Check next door, the Target. How does that heal you? It doesn't. It just makes someone else wounded, right? And this is how abuse happens, right? It kind of works this way in families. So a dad will abuse his son or his daughter, and the son or the daughter, they feel that injury for the rest of their life. They've been treated poorly, and so instead of healing from it, they go and abuse someone else. Now, what was done to them was terrible, and it should be dealt with, right? But going and abusing someone else because you feel awful, that's just not the right thing to do. And I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it and say, well, the protesters are okay and this is bad. Listen, go out there and scream your lungs out if you need to. Burn a pile of lumber in the middle of the street. Don't burn down someone's business. Don't burn their house down. Don't shoot people. This is awful. This is not good. This is not what we need to be doing as human beings. I mean, we just got through 3 months of coronavirus lockdown, and people just want to get back to work. They want to go out for the summer and enjoy the sunshine, maybe go camping, whatever, right? This is not going to help. I understand the feelings, but don't let feelings rule you. There's a great quote in a book that I read sometimes called the Bible. It says, "In your anger, don't sin." Be angry, but don't do something evil to someone else. And that's just what I live my life by, right? So, speaking of anger, transition time. I was more than a little angry at Amazon this particular day because Amazon has been extraordinarily unreasonable with my account and other sellers' accounts. So, just for background, Amazon has guidelines about how they want their titles of products created. So when you're creating a listing on Amazon, what I always tell people is create the title, make it the name of the file that you're going to use as your design, and then upload it, copy the title in, send it to Amazon, and let it go. If it's a good product, it will start selling. If it's not, it won't. So this is the way I've been doing my business for 3 years now. So I have a lot of words that I like to use in titles, and because these products are gifts, I use the word gift in the title. And I've done that with almost every single listing I have for 5,000 listings, which is a lot of listings, you might understand. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, this started happening. I started noticing that my listings were being suppressed, and other people were noticing it too, and you click on it, and it says prohibited phrases in title. Now, what I took that to mean is that Amazon thinks that I'm trying to use trademarked phrases in the title of the product, because they don't explain this. prohibited phrases is just about the vaguest explanation that I can come up with for anything. And so I have contacted Amazon twice now, and the first time, the information that I got was, oh, you got to set up your title, you have to put your brand first. And I'm like, well, I don't have a brand, I have a name. He's like, yeah, that's your brand. So you got to put that, then you put the name of the product, then you put the size, the color, and what it's made of. And I'm like, okay. So I did that, and my listings were unsuppressed. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got this. I can get through this. All of them were suppressed again today. Every single one. There was only like 2 or 3 of my fulfilled by Amazon, the ones that sell the most. Everything that I had made a sale was suppressed. Every single one. And I called Amazon again, and I was like, okay, I am a little unhappy here. I wasn't abusive to the tech guy. He even said that, normally we're not doing tech support over the phone for this issue, but I'll talk to you anyway. And I'm like, okay, thank you, I guess. I appreciate that. So I'm like, what am I not allowed to put in the title? Please be specific about that. And he was like, it's not just the title. It's the description and the bullet points. Now, oh my God. This was something that I did not expect, because I thought the title was the only thing that mattered. But it's not. Amazon does not want any promotional phrases, words, or anything in the title, the bullet points, or the description. So the words best, the words gift, I don't even know what would qualify as a promotional phrase, but I'm going to go and find what they are. I'm going to make a list of words not to use, and that'll be in my course. So if you guys ever wanted to know, what am I offering with this course that I'm building, you're going to get some amazing value in this. I'm going to be putting all that together, and I'm going to teach you how to make a proper title that Amazon will like. Now, a lot of people have looked at Amazon and said, this sounds really complicated. I do not want to bother with that. I totally understand that point of view. Amazon is the big dog, and they're very technical. And doing anything on Amazon tends to be stupidly and ridiculously technical, such as changing the title on more than one listing, or even just changing the title and the bullet points on any listing. There's far more steps involved in it than it needs to be. On Etsy, it's as simple as edit, you change the title. Etsy doesn't care what's in the title. They literally don't care. You can put best super dad free gift ever. In fact, I have the word gift in my title on Etsy like 7 or 8 times in some cases. Might be too many times, but they don't care. Etsy's pretty sweet about that. Amazon is weird. In my opinion, it's unreasonable, because many of the phrases that I'm using might contain the word best. It might contain the word gift. And I can't even put that in the title, because that's the phrase. And I was trying to debate this with the guy, and I'm like, what if I'm selling gift bags? How am I supposed to sell gift bags on Amazon if I can't use the word gift in the title? Right? That doesn't make sense to me. What if I'm selling wrapping paper? What is the rationale behind this? And it's basically like arguing with the government. You're just not going to get anywhere. He said to me, this is Amazon's policy now, and this is what they're enforcing. And I was like, well, okay, fine. I make a ton of money off Amazon, and I'm gonna play ball. All right. Now this made me unhappy. I still haven't gone through and fixed these problems. I tried one listing, and it was taking me forever. And here's the thing: if you have multiple variations. So what I do is I always create an 11-ounce and 15-ounce version of every coffee mug. In order for Amazon to accept changes, you need to change both of them. So delete the word gift, delete the word best, Delete any promotional sounding word. Again, I'm going to go find a list of these, and we'll see if we can't get through this. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Things are pretty bad. I was in a bad mood today for a little while. Shipping to Canada has been really delayed. Customers are getting unhappy. I'm dealing with messages every day. Where's my item? The tracking number doesn't work. And I'm looking at the tracking number and I'm like, I have no idea who that even shipped with. I'm like, UPS or something? I've never seen so many different tracking numbers. It looks like they're just firing it out the door and trying to get it in the hands of somebody to ship it. It's crazy right now. This is literally crazy. I've never seen this before. But here's the thing. Nobody is burning down my store. Nobody's smashing my windows. They can't. None of those things. I am not risking anything by running this business. I just have a little bit more aggravation right now, but I also have way better sales. I guarantee you, I'm making more money than a small owner of a shop would be making, especially right now. I have no debt for the business. The business is paying off my debt. And I can operate this business and work a full-time job. And I have no plans to stop doing that. It doesn't really take up that much of my time. I can give these duties to someone else. In fact, I am planning to start downloading duties. Duty. Duty means poo. I'm planning to give some of these jobs that I do to other members of my family to teach them how to do it. Because I want my kids to know how to work a business. So, listen, you can easily start this business. And yes, you will struggle. You will be frustrated. You won't know what you're doing. You will look at the success of other people and be like, how am I going to achieve that? And you'll be angry when you can't achieve it right away. Okay? But when you persevere, things work out. They do. They work out. Every person that I know that started selling when I started selling is doing really well right now. There isn't a whole ton of them left. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people quit. They just can't hack it. They just get overwhelmed by the technical details. They're like, how do I do flat files? And I'm like, you don't need to do that. But it's good to learn it. So they just cannot manage that. But if you persevere, things are going to work out. Okay? You may not see the success that I've seen right away, but you'll continue to do better and better every single year. And that is the real best thing about this kind of business, is that it scales so easily, and that the work that you do this year, you'll keep reaping the benefit of that for years to come. Most people, when they're running a business, they'll work really hard in their first year and they'll make no money. That's pretty normal. I didn't really make any money in the first year doing this. I spent it on stuff. I spent it on training, which was a good thing to spend it on. But then the second year, I was still making sales from products I created in my first year. But that doesn't happen. Like, if you own a restaurant, you're not making making money off of, what you cooked yesterday. You got to cook it again today. So, that's the great thing about this kind of business, this print-on-demand business. It just keeps going. It keeps building. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to give you some hope for the future. You can live your life being afraid of everything. You can sit there and be angry about things that are going wrong in the world, or you can literally take control of all of the space around your body. Okay, that's all you have control over. You have control over your voice, your hands, your feet, and, how you look at the world. Your mindset. That's all you have. Literally everything that you've got. But you can do quite a bit with that. So get out there, stop complaining about everything that's bad, and start making good things happen. Alright, I'm done. Hope you found some good value in this podcast. I feel better. I'm happy to be speaking with you guys. Really felt like I was venting there for a little bit. Glad you guys are here to listen to me. The podcast is growing And I encourage you, keep sharing it with your friends. I think there's a lot we can share with each other value-wise here. We'll see you next week. Cheers.